Hey, so welcome, Jamie. I'm excited to talk to you today about the Codes of Ascension Dolphin Retreat that you came on with me last year in Bimini. Yeah, it's been so amazing to hear all the shifts that people experienced in their life after the retreat and how, what changed before and after them swimming with the dolphins. And yeah, I'd love to share
Yes.
you to share your experience of what your life was like before you swam with the dolphins and then what's changed for you after receiving the activations from the Dolphins.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of crazy things have crazy, wonderful things have happened to me since then. So I'll try to narrow it down to the biggest things. The first thing that happened is doing my appointment with you. Before I did my appointment with you, I was, since I had my awakening, my sensitivity to social places and people and different things was so great that it made me really fear leaving my house because and I just thought it was part of my awakening journey. I didn't realize that it had anything to do with anything else. And so I just kind of thought that's what it was. And when I did my appointment with you and you cleared a lifetime, that something had happened that caused that to play in my mind that when, with my sensitivities, when I'm around other people, it could lead to my death. And so once you cleared that, that literally changed my life in ways I can't even begin to describe. Like I'm a mother of three. I have children. My daughter graduated this year, and so I did the retreat with you last year. And my second daughter graduated high school this year, and I was able to go to her graduation. If I hadn't had that appointment with you, I wouldn't have been able to do that. I haven't been going to my son's baseball games until that time and everything because the fear and the anxiety that I would feel inside was so great. And I didn't really know where it was coming from. And because I had just had my awakening, I thought it was just part of my awakening and it really wasn't. So that was like huge for me, life changing, where now I can go places. I can, go out to lunch with my family and not feel like I'm going to die. Or I can travel, to Bimini and swim with the dolphins. So just any single, even just hanging out, for the Halloween party at my house, all of those things that regular people just go and do and hang out and do things around people, going to the grocery store, regular people things was so hard for me before my appointment with you. And I had no idea why or how to fix it. And so right as soon as my appointment was over, it was like gone. So that for me was huge. The most amazing thing that happened to me that I think is just like so magical is right after I left the Bahamas and swimming with the dolphins, and you taught us how to communicate with them. The day I came home, I literally stopped at there's a dolphin place here in the Keys because I live in the Florida Keys, and I stopped there. They were dolphins I had seen before, and I'd swam with. They're in captivity, so they're not wild dolphins. But I knew these dolphins not in per se speaking with them, but just going and swimming with them and appreciating them in that kind of way. And the day I came home from the retreat, I stopped there on my way home and I sat down on the bench and I did the thing that you taught us to do, how to communicate with them. I kind of was like, oh, let me just see if it works what Rebecca taught us. And right away they started talking to me. They started telling me all this kind of stuff. They told me there was 27 of the dolphins there and that they would like to do some appointments with me. And so I went inside and ended up like confirming with the people in the gift shop that there were 27 dolphins and just a bunch of stuff that, like, if they weren't talking to me in my head, I got confirmation that that was really happening from several different synchronicities and down to the fact that the one dolphin that was communicating with me actually reached out to another woman who was on this retreat with us too, who was in England and was telling her stuff to tell me, and so it was just the most amazing thing. And after that, I've communicated for the whole almost a year now with so many dolphins, so many whales that have reached out to me, whales and dolphins from SeaWorld and just all over the world. I've had dolphins and whales. I go out on the boat and I connect and communicate with the dolphins that are in the Florida Keys. You're not allowed to swim with them, but like I've communicated with them, and before I go out, they'll tell me how many dolphins I'm going to see that day. And they'll be like, oh, the first time I did it was a pod of 4 dolphins with a baby. And so as soon as I sat and did the thing that you taught us, and I told them to tell me something, and they said, well, you're going to meet 4 dolphins with a baby when you go out on the boat. And sure enough, as soon as we got out there, the first pod we saw, 4 dolphins with a baby. And of course, I'm like, ah! I was just freaking out because I couldn't believe it. It's just the most amazing thing when you realize that like you can communicate and interact with these amazing beings that are just their vibration is so high and it's so beautiful that it to me that's been like the most magical aspect of all this is just tapping into my gifts of being able to communicate in particular with the dolphins and the whales because they're just such their vibe is so wonderful and I just didn't know that I could do any of that before. So that for me was like the biggest, hugest, most funnest miracle of all of this, other than the fact that I also was able to leave my house, which is also a miracle. And it sounds crazy, but before my appointment with you, like I was fearful when I left my house. Anything I did, I was doing under pressure and anxiety, and I didn't know why. So that was huge for me. The other thing that really has changed for me is I've done a couple of other appointments to clear karma that I had with different family members. I have three children and my husband of 26 years. Just as 2 days ago, we celebrated our 26 years being married. And there was a lot of stuff in karma between him and me and my children from other lifetimes that I really didn't know. And I've done a couple of other appointments with you since this retreat, which has changed my life with my family aspect of us all feeling comfortable and being able to be around each other without all this weird stuff that we don't even know where it's coming from because it's coming from a different life. So there was lots of times before all this where I thought like, oh, I'm going to have to leave and just all this weird stuff, but it didn't make any sense because there was nothing really happening in my home that would warrant any of that, but it was just feelings that I had. And so for me, I had said prayers every day in my angel book, praying for me and my family for 3 years every day until I met you, Rebecca. And I always feel like you were the answer to my prayers because I was praying for a way for me and my family to be comfortable, for me to feel safe and comfortable and be able to do things and go to my daughter's graduation and just all these regular people things that I wasn't able to do prior to meeting you and having the experience of your gifts. And then on top of it, to be able to communicate with dolphins and experience that has just been the most magical. There are no words. It's just the most wonderful, magical, funnest vibrational thing that I've ever experienced. So much so that I'm coming again this year on this trip because it was just the best thing that I've ever experienced. And I've told you before, like anytime you do it, I want to come because that's how amazing it was. And the other thing that I also, I guess, has really been amazing is just in general, other than talking to the dolphins and the whales, since my time going and connecting with you and swimming with the dolphins there, my regular gifts of psychic gifts have just went like they've just imploded so much more and down to the point where I'm able to communicate with the trees, with all kinds of animals and trees, not just the dolphins. And so that to me has just been really magical because it was just not anything that I could do prior. So those are all of my points that I just feel there's a bunch of other stuff, but those are like the big things that have been like a life changer for me, literally changed my life, making me able to go out and participate in life and do things with my children without being afraid. And then clearing different karmic patterns and lifetimes with family members that I love, that I want to be with and I want to have enjoy their company, but like to have everything cleared has just made that it's a game changer for me. And I'm just so grateful to you for all of that. And then on top of it, just being able to communicate with the dolphins in general, and then all of the animals and the trees too, since that time. And actually even the water too has started to communicate with me since that time. So I was communicating with different ascended masters and angels and things like that before this trip, but I wasn't communicating with animals or trees or anything. So it kind of like took what I was doing and went leveled it way up. So I'm super excited to see how it will level me up this year. And it's so amazing that every time you do it, I want to come.
Yeah, I mean, I love that. And I mean, yeah, the theme of last year was Codes of Ascension. So it was about embodying the power that we knew from the times of Atlantis. So we did do some past life exploration to Atlantis. And then when we were at the retreat and the dolphins very much directed the sessions when we were on the retreat. So when we did the mandala, they told me like where to position everyone, and we all sat
Right.
and received the codes of light. Each person shared their codes, and that rippled out across the planet. That was so powerful, and other people joined us energetically as well, the people that had paid to join energetically, and it was just amazing, like feeling the power of what we were activating there, and
Right.
how the dolphins responded as well. So like the first day, they didn't show up as much on the first day, and everybody was receiving healing on the boat. I don't know whether you remember, like I said to the
I
dolphins,
do. Yes.
yeah, I said, "Where are you?" And they said, "We're sending healing to the boat. So we're not going to show up in the physical because that would distract everyone." And they would all be like, "Oh, let's get in the water." They said, "We
Right.
want to receive our energy before we show up." And when I looked on the boat, everybody was asleep, like on the
Yep.
front net.
Yep.
Now, and I took
Yep.
a photo of it because I was like, wow, everyone is receiving healing. And they said, we'll show up once everyone's received the energy. And then literally they did show up. But then as we progressed and we did those, we did the group sessions and we communicated with the dolphins, and each day,
Yeah.
like, we were sending telepathic communication to them. And then when they showed up and did the exact thing that they said
That
they
they
were
just
going to
told
do.
us that they were going to do. Yeah. I mean, my mind was just like, ah, my
Yeah.
mind was blown. The
Yeah.
most amazing thing. Like, I just can't even put it into words how amazing it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever they told us just before we left is what exactly what they did. And I remember them like saying to me that I was there for healing. And so I do remember all that. Actually, as I was doing all of this with you, I didn't really, the whole Atlantis thing was kind of new for me. And I wasn't really, like I said, I just woke up a couple years ago. And so everything's been kind of like fast and crazy for me in the way of like trying to understand all of this stuff. So I kind of didn't even really think of it like that. But it makes total sense that, yeah, I'm tapping into those gifts from that lifetime by having that experience and going there with you and doing all the group sessions that we did to activate those gifts in myself. I just at that time didn't really even understand that. So, but it worked. I mean, it's, I'm, like I said, I'm communicating with trees, with lizards, with any animal, and the dolphins, and not even just dolphins that live by me. Like I did some appointments on the dolphins that live in captivity at this one place here. And once I did stuff on them, their parents from SeaWorld and the Miami Sea Aquarium, the parents of these dolphins that don't live here started reaching out to me and asking me to do appointments on them. And they're connected, these dolphins, to some of the original dolphins from the TV show Flipper. So they wanted ancestral healing because the trauma of that lived in the lines of those dolphins. And so they would tell me their name, and I would go and Google, like, is this dolphin at the Miami Sea Aquarium, or is this dolphin at SeaWorld? And sure enough, there it was. And I was like, oh my God, they really are asking me, and that's their parents. And so then I did appointments with them. And so it was just really just so magical. It was so magical. And I'm just so excited for all the ways that it's just brought so much magic and joy into my life. Like even now, whenever something happens that I don't really understand with myself or someone around me, I'm just like, oh, we need Rebecca. We got to make an appointment with Rebecca, because a lot of this stuff, is stuff from some other lifetime that I don't even know about. That so I don't want to leave that part out too, because I think that that's really changed my life, is the sessions that I've done with you since this retreat, and the session before the retreat where you cleared the thing that made me feel like I couldn't be around other people because that was controlling my whole life. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I'm so excited that you're joining again. And I loved what you said on our call the other day when you said, the message that you got about returning to the same place again,
Right.
going
And you
back to
go twice.
Bimini, okay, which is
Yeah.
what is thought to be one of the original locations of Atlantis.
Right.
And last time the Dolphins told me the theme of this retreat is Atlantis, like embracing the powers that we had in Atlantis. But interestingly, the theme of this year is Lemuria, which is another ancient
Right.
civilization. But the Lemurians very much lived in harmony with each other and very much
Right.
connected to our spiritual gifts. And we all communicated with animals. We lived amongst animals as one. And so it feels like this retreat is more about that kind of energy, like balancing the masculine and feminine within, and
Right.
and embracing our telepathic gifts with each other, with animals and having that harmony with nature. But yeah, I'll be really interested to see what shifts again for you because, like you say, like
Right. Yeah.
you go the first time and you're kind of clearing the energy with your resonance with Bimini and the Atlantean road
Right.
and that energy. So it's like, I'm excited, like what's going to unfold this
Yes.
time, for
And
myself
I
as
actually,
well.
I told you this
Me
the
too.
other day that I also feel the Lemurian, all of the beings of light that are associated with like Lemuria and Golden Lemuria, like already kind of reaching out to me right before I go on, just within the past couple of weeks. And I'm getting
Yeah.
bumps all over my body as I say this. And so I found it so interesting that you said that because I've been feeling them reaching out to me already, knowing that I'm going on this retreat with you and feeling them like reaching out to me is basically like that I'm going to be going and like activating a lot of that Lemurian energy in myself. And like, I already feel the beings of Lemuria, like reaching out and contacting me. And so I'm super excited to see, where it will take me, energetically and frequency wise. And then just with my gifts and everything. I'm sure it's going to just be very magical and amazing. And so if anybody is thinking about going, you should go. And yeah, I was getting that whenever you can go back to the same place twice, it's really, especially like sometimes we'll go somewhere and we'll kind of collapse like an old timeline that was maybe like heavier or whatever, which is kind of what we were doing. And then the next time it's like you connect with that land, it's already cleared, like it just like powers you right up. So it's like it's actually more activating and stronger the second time is kind of like what I was getting from my guides when you first sent out the email about me going. They're like, yeah, go back again because everything that's happened to you since and just that one time of going, like you're just going to level up even more. So I'm so excited. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm super excited. Yeah. Yeah. And also I got the message that, I need to go and swim with the whales. So I'm going to Niue in 3 weeks. So I'm going to swim with the whales. And I got the message that they're going to give me codes from Lemuria
Right.
that they're going to maybe they're going to give them to me or activate the codes that are already in my body. And then I'm going to then take them to
Bring
Bimini.
them back. Yeah.
That's going to be
To
anchored into my
share.
being
Yeah.
and to share that with the group. Yeah. So
Yep.
it feels like stepping into this space of unconditional love for the self so that we can love
Right.
others in that way as well. So yeah, I'm super excited. And yeah, like I've been feeling I've been feeling the mer beings come to me
Yes.
as well. They've been coming in meditation. They told me my mermaid name from when I was a mermaid.
Right.
And yeah, they told me that they shapeshift into dolphins so that they can swim with us, and we can, receive them in that way. But I've been feeling like all the kind of magical creatures, the unicorns, the dragons, the fairies
Right. Yep.
coming to
Yep.
me. And I'm actually feeling that one of the events that I facilitate online as part of the retreat is going to be connecting with those beings and embracing the magic of those beings and the recognition that we've also been those beings. Like I know
Right.
I've been a mermaid before. I feel it in me. I'm so happy in water. I'm so happy in pools and the ocean.
Right.
Um, and if I have a period where I'm like not near any water, like I remember one of my ex-partners was like, we need to get her in water. It's like a mermaid.
Right. Yeah.
Get her in water. She's having a meltdown.
Like your vitamins, you
Yeah,
need it. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
and I feel the same way. And I've actually had a lot of interaction since the retreat with the dragons and the fairies and the unicorns reaching out to me. And this is all, to me, like I just think it's beforehand, like it's stuff from children's books or whatever. And, for the past since this retreat, like I've worked with the dragons a whole bunch, like the water dragons for sure. Like I have a water dragon guide that helps me do stuff with the water. And so that makes complete sense. But the first time that I ever felt the mer people was just like 3 weeks ago. And I was out on the boat and the same thing. I could just feel beings all around me, high frequency beings, and I didn't recognize them. It wasn't like anybody I recognized, like Mother Mary or just any of the ascended masters or beings that I normally communicate with. And so I said, like, who are you? And they said, we're the mer people. And then I could just see them all like circling around me. And they were like basically talking about the water and doing stuff with the water and that this retreat's gonna like upgrade me to do stuff that I'm meant to do with the water, and so all this other stuff. That's what I'm saying. So many cool things have happened to me since going and having this experience with you that I tried to like narrow it down to like the biggest things, but
Yeah.
they're all kind of big. So it's kind of hard to narrow it down because it's just been so many amazing things that have happened. And yeah, the mer people and just a lot of the different Lemurian, like the star mothers of Lemuria, just a lot of Lemurian energy reaching out to me and very excited about me going on this adventure again. And they were kind of the ones that were like, you know, when you go a second time, it really up levels you even more. Because the first time I was kind of like clearing that timeline, I guess, with myself of Atlantis, where things, you know, whatever happened there. And so, and it still activated me greatly. And I've had all this stuff come about and gifts come online for me and everything. But this time that I'm just getting that it's going to be, you know, like up leveling in a different kind of way. And it's, you know, like you said, it's more Lemurian energy this time.
Yeah.
So that's probably why I've been feeling a lot of Lemurian beings reaching out to me in energy. But I just didn't really put that together because to me, you know, I'm not putting that together, but it makes complete sense. So I'm just very excited and I'm thank you so much. And I thank the dolphins. I mean, they're remarkable divine beings and fish bodies. Like it's just amazing that they're here and they, you know, they're so healing and they do so much energetically for all of us while we're there that
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
I feel like it's the most magical experience that anybody could have. Like if I could just go and live there and swim with them every day, like that's what I would do. So that's how amazing it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Amazing. And when you first contacted me, you weren't going to come on the retreat. You were just contacting me,
Right. No,
right?
because
And it
yeah,
was
I was
really
just
interesting how you ended up booking a session. Do you want to share like what happened?
yeah. So I was actually at a sound bath with my friend who told me about this. It was one of her sound baths. And I was very reluctant to go on this trip because, again, with my sensitivities, I didn't have my appointment. I was like, oh, how many people? 20 people. Oh, I have to get on an airplane. Oh, I have to leave my house. Like, and I just right away, I'm feeling panicked. And I'm like, no, I can't. It wasn't even about money or anything like that. It was really about having to go be around people, be on a boat with 20 people. Oh my God, I can't do it. Like, my heart's racing, whatever. And so my friend said, well, why don't you just book a session with her? And she says she can help you with your sensitivities. And at the time, I'm thinking, like, this is just part of my ascension. How is she going to help me with that? But okay, I'll give it a try because I can't even go watch my own kid play baseball at his baseball games because I have a panic attack because something makes me feel like I'm not safe there. And I'd already been living like that for 3 years. So she had told me that. And I was like, well, maybe I was kind of on the fence of like just booking a session. And I was in the sound bath and, you know, I had never talked to you or met you. I didn't know anything about you. I was just hearing about this from my friend who was saying that she feels like I was supposed to go. And so I was in the sound bath and like listening to the bowls. And all of a sudden, Rebecca's mother, who had passed, came to me in the sound bath and um, she said, don't worry, everything's going to be all right. And my daughter's going to be, I'm getting bumps as I say this, and my daughter's going to be able to help you. And it was so heartfelt that it made me cry.
Yeah.
And I was like, after I waited till the sound bath was over because there were other people paying for the sound bath that were there. So it wasn't just like friends hanging out doing the sound bath. This was like at a person's like work. And once it was over and everybody kind of left, I asked my friend, I was like, does this woman's mother, is she in spirit? Like, and she was like, yes. And she said it's her mother's money that she used to fund this
Yeah.
trip for everybody to go. And I'm getting bumps as I say
Yeah.
that again. And right when she said that, I was like, oh my God, because she just came to me in the sound bath and she said, don't worry, everything's going to be all right. And my daughter's going to be able to help you. And that's all she said. And it made me cry. And then I asked, and so I had never met you. I didn't know that your mother had passed. I don't really do a lot of mediumship things. It's not something that I ever really got into. And so it was so crazy to me because I knew exactly who it was, that it was your mother. She told me that and that everything was going to work out and you'd be able to help me. and everything did work out and you were able to help me. So she was right. But then to find out that it was actually your inheritance from her, the money that funded this, that so that we could all go do this, like makes her a huge part of this
Yeah.
whole journey and story. And so I just found that so amazing. And then I think one time later on, you sent me like a picture of her. And when I looked at, like, I felt her come again, and she was like just proud of me for going and saying, like, that she was proud of me for going and that everything worked out. And I was just thanking her for being part of my journey from spirit because that night I came home and I sent you the text saying, like, oh, I'm just gonna, can I just book I'm not sure that I want to go, but I just want to make an appointment to book a session if you could help me with my sensitivity so that I would be able to walk my daughter down the field for her senior year for cheer. It wasn't even her graduation because but that would be coming up, and it was a huge concern for me of like, how do I do this for my daughter and make her feel loved and important when it's going to make me feel like I'm going to die. So, I booked the session. And then as soon as you did the appointment and did what you did, the next day I got up and went out to lunch with my family and it was gone. And I just, so it was amazing. And that's how it ended up for me. And I sent you the text, the email that night when I got home from the sound bath, because I was like, all right, her mother is reaching out to me from spirit.
Yeah.
And to me, I just found that to be like miraculous because I hadn't really done medium things, so I wasn't expecting it, and then I didn't even know that I had never talked to you, so I had no idea of knowing that. And she came in, so it was so strong, her presence,
Yeah.
and she was so kind, and it was so heartfelt when she said that to me that it made me cry, because I could feel that it was true. And I knew that it was true by the way that she said it to me. And so I was like, all right, I'm just going to make this appointment. So thank you to your mom also.
Mm. And it's so interesting, because she was my biggest cheerleader in life, and then to think that she was still cheering me on in
Yep,
spirit,
yep,
and it was her money that allowed me to book the trip. Because when I first
right,
contacted Wild Quest and said I want to run this retreat, and they said, well, you need to fill the 20 places, and this is how much money you need to put down. I didn't
right,
get it, and I was like, I can't do it because I can't afford it. So literally, when my mum passed away, it was my inheritance that I put up against that retreat.
right,
And it brought up so much nervousness because I stood to lose my whole inheritance if the
right,
tree didn't
right,
go. And, I was speaking to the Dolphins and they were like, it's going to be fine. You're going to get the 20 people. Like they're already coming. And my mum came in spirit and she said, I will help you. And so
right,
then when you messaged me and said your mum's come to me, I was like, wow, this is insane. And even people who were nervous about traveling, another girlfriend, she was so nervous about traveling to America. She said my mum was there with her all the way through the airport saying, I'm here, I'm
right,
supporting you, you're
right,
safe. So she was assisting so many people on the retreat,
right.
you know?
Yeah, no, and
Wow.
she came through, and I felt that how pure and genuine what she was telling me, how pure and genuinely true it was, that I went home and sent you the text or the email, whichever it was, saying like I wanted to book my session with you for my sensitivities, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to go yet.
Yeah.
And that's why I did it, because I could feel what she said to me was true by the way that she said it. Like the energy of it was so pure and true that I was like, I got to at least just book this appointment. But so that made her like part of all of our journey, because really that was healing not only to all 20 of us who went, but literally to the planet. Whatever we did there helped
It was
to
huge.
heal and uplift the whole planet. So it's like, you know, thank you to your mom. But she came right to me, and had never even spoke to you. I didn't know you had a mom in spirit. I wasn't a practicing medium, any of that. And
Yeah.
it was just so clear. And then when I asked the woman at the sound bath if you did have a mother and if she was in spirit, and she was like, yeah. And then she said, and it's her money that's funding this for everybody to be able to go. I was just like, wow, like that's, you just can't make that kind of stuff up. And it was just I felt the energy and the powerfulness of that, and also all the love,
Yeah.
you know,
And it's her
from your
money again
mom.
that's going
Yeah.
up against this retreat, it's
Right.
round two. It's still my inheritance back in this retreat. So yeah. Yeah. So I'm sure
Yeah.
she'll be a part of this retreat as well.
Yeah, so she'll go let everybody know.
Yeah, go tell everyone, Mom.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, well, I'm so glad you're
Yeah,
going to be joining us again this year. I'm so excited to
so
journey with
excited.
you again. And, I've been looking at the videos of the dolphins. I'm so excited to swim with them again and just be in that beautiful place. And yeah, it's going to
Yeah,
be
I'm so excited. My husband's actually going to come this time as one of the people
amazing.
on the
Yeah.
retreat. And so I'm really excited for him because I think that like he probably doesn't realize it, but he has some kind of gifts and stuff that he'll probably activate in himself. Even if he doesn't, it's just such a magical experience that it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
But I am beyond excited. It's kept me excited this whole year because I think I signed up right away once you started advertising. It's probably within a couple of weeks that I was like, oh yeah, I'm going again. And I just knew I was meant to go again. And then I also really wanted to go again because it's the most amazing experience. It's so magical, and the dolphins, and then the place that we stay, all the food is so amazing, and the whole experience. It's like you couldn't even get that experience anyplace else to be so wonderful. Like the food, everything, the dolphins, the people, the vibes, all of it is just amazing. I highly recommend it to anybody. And like I said, like I'm in. I'm coming again. If you do it next time, I'll do it that time too. If you do one swimming with the whales, I want to go with to that with you. Like you're a very powerful healer. You have a very powerful energy that just it really it activates and assists people in ways that like I don't think we can even understand because it's kind of beyond words. And so I'm in. I
Yeah.
want to go to all of them.
Oh,
And I'm excited that you put these on because it gives all of us a chance to go and fulfill these contracts and to assist Mother Earth and to heal our own self and our own karma from whatever stuff that we don't even know. And so it's just, you're such a gift to all of us too, just like the dolphins. And you're also magical, and your mom is awesome as
mm,
well. So
thank you.
thank you so much. And I'm very excited to come. I
Yeah, I'm so
cannot wait.
excited to
Yeah.
journey with you again. And yeah, thank you so much for showing up and doing this interview and sharing the
Yes, of
magic with
course.
everyone. And yeah, I'm excited to journey with you in all the dolphin retreats and whale retreats.
That's right. Me too. Me too. And so everybody sign up. Sign up.
Yay!
You're gonna it's the most amazing thing.
Awesome. Thank you,
Thank you
Jamie.
so much.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.